talking about food. How does food affect our balance? Well, it can. It absolutely can. As we get older, so my education is in dietetics. That's my original trade, line of study, course of study is dietetics and nutritionist. And so what I learned as we get older, people tend to salt their food more and add flavoring because we lose a little bit of taste. And so that causes all kinds of problems. That's not what we're talking about, though, a high sodium diet. What we're talking about today is sarcopenia. How many of you have heard of sarcopenia? Sarcopenia, what that is it's a term we use to describe muscle loss as it relates to age. And so what that means is that as we age, we lose testosterone, right? Guys and girls, we all have testosterone in our body, it just may be at different ratios. As we age, the ability to build lean muscle tissue decreases. Not only that, we tend to eat less also. That's why, and drink less. That's why I always encourage you guys to have water, and I'm always talking, drink water, right? We want to make sure that we're getting that hydration, and we want to make sure that we're eating specifically protein. Our muscles are built from the building blocks of protein, which are amino acids. Now, we're not going to get off in the weeds here, but I do want to read you some studies here, and I did send my sources. You guys can have access to that information all on your handout. It's all included. I always make sure that we do that so you can go do your own research. But as we age, some muscle loss is expected. However, not consuming enough daily calories to maintain muscle mass can exacerbate the symptoms of sarcopenia. And so there's a list there that I have. The proteins in your muscles are constantly being broke down. If you aren't consuming enough protein in your diet, the breakdown exceeds the synthesis and you have a loss of muscle mass. So basically, daily activity pulls muscle, pulls proteins. If you're not replacing that, you're going to lose muscle mass. Why is that important? We need strong muscles to make sure we're able to balance, to walk, to move, and all those good things. Joint stabilization, that's why that muscle is important. Now, how much muscle? All this is in accordance to the Associate Director, Gene Mayer, USDA Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging at Tufts University in Boston. So that is included in your handout. Make sure you take a look at that. Last thing I'm going to mention before we get started, I know you're sitting there just captivated at all this great information. So here's the thing. How much protein should you be eating? And what is protein? Chicken, fish, cottage cheese, eggs, things like that. Milk even has some protein. It's a casein protein. Hopefully you're not lactose intolerant. So how much protein? We're looking at, and I highlighted it, and of course I knew if I highlighted anything else, I wouldn't be able to find it, and such is the case. So let me peruse. On average, older adults should aim for at least 0.6 grams of protein per pound. So about 90 grams of protein if you're about 150 pounds, if you weigh about 150 pounds. Don't eat that at once. Your body can only digest and process anywhere between 25 to 32 grams of protein at a time. That's it. Protein is the only macronutrient that doesn't store in the body. Fat, of course, stores in the body, and so does carbohydrates, right? Protein is the only macronutrient that doesn't absorb in the body. So you want to make sure that you're eating that at different times, different intervals of the day. There you go. Sarcopenia, muscle, very important to balance. We stay strong. Not only that, resistance training, the things we do today, it helps ensure we have strong bones so we can fight against osteoporosis and osteopenia. When you flex, when you're doing anything against a load or resistance, that muscle, what's it anchored to? Either a tendon, ligament, or bone, right? So what that anchors, that muscle, when you go to lift something up, it's pulling on my bone. Well, that little sensation there then encourages the bone to then become stronger. There's a lot, it's very layman's terms, but you get the picture, all right? Good? Let's get started. Let's get started. I think it's important, guys, that we learn just how complex balance can be and all the little different tidbits and information. In 2018, we're looking at 36 million falls. Not everyone tells their doctor. 2018, 36 million falls. By 2030, we're looking at about 52 million falls. That's the increase, right? 10,000 Americans turn 65 every day. Let's not be a statistic.